Friday morning saw this news. When you see stuff like this, your eyes open and then you want to get the details. Let's get into this. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's plane was headed to Munich, Germany, for crucial Ukraine negotiations, and it turned around mid-Atlantic. Now, J.D. Vance is already over there, and they're going to be talking to Zelensky to put an end to this war. And then you get this kind of news. It turns out to be pretty alarming. Those that were tracking the flight had reported this morning that Marco Rubio's plane, forced to turn back for an unknown reason, went en route to Munich, Germany. As seen in the image, the plane dropped around 20,000 feet over the course of 10 minutes. And we did finally get an update, which is one of those, okay, that doesn't seem so bad. But at the same time, I'm not saying that that's not the truth, but is there more to the story? We got this. It says a U.S. official is reporting that there was a crack in the windshield, not a safety concern. They headed back to switch planes, and he's on his way to Munich. May already be in Munich by the time you watch this. Happy Valentine's Day. Today is Friday, February 14th. Big hug to all of y'all. If you don't have a Valentine's, you are my Valentines. I am your Valentine. I love you very much, because we bleed the same colors of red, white, and blue. We are all very happy and gleeful that we have President Trump back in the Oval Office. And folks, this time around, it's so much better than the first term, because he has got people that have our backs with him. It's not one MAGA guy. It has been a MAGA movement for the last 8 years, and he's got key people doing great things. Aforementioned J.D. Vance, Vice President, Marco Rubio at the State Department, Pam Bondi at the DOJ, RFK Jr. now heading the Health and Human Services. By the way, because this platform doesn't really like certain topics, I made a special report about how huge this MAHA movement is, Make America Healthy Again movement is. It is episode 566 of my show, the BCP podcast. MAHA is only part of the mission. Now that RFK Jr. is HHS Secretary, they will no longer be able to hide the truth. A 26-minute report I put up last night. If you want to watch it, just please go over to bcpextras.com or therealbcp.com. That is where I host the BCP podcast. You do not have to be a paid supporter or member to watch this particular episode. I want everyone to see it, but I can't put it here on YouTube. So make sure that you go over to bcpextras.com or therealbcp.com. Just go ahead and you might have to register and create an account, but you won't have to pay anything. I want you to watch it. I think we are on the cusp of something huge with RFK Jr. and his confirmation and swearing in. Plus, if you haven't seen some of the things that happened in the Oval Office yesterday, you definitely want to go ahead and watch that report. So once again, head over to bcpextras.com or therealbcp.com to watch it. All right, so let's get back to the news. Me and my wrinkled shirt want to share with you. I am BCP, and this is BRS, Black Wrinkled Shirt. All right, y'all got to see this this from Axios this morning. They had the brass pair, the cojones, to go and ask Arizona swing voters what they thought about Trump and Musk, and hoping to get some, some sound bites or some good quotes about the ridiculousness. And in fact, what they found out was this. Every Arizona swing voter in our latest focus group said they approve of President Trump's actions since taking office, and most also support Elon Musk's efforts to slash government. Why it matters. Public opinions can constrain presidents when Congress does not. But these 11 voters, all of whom backed Joe Biden in 2020, but switched to Trump last November, said they're good with Trump aggressively testing disruptive expansionist expressions of presidential power that are piling up in court challenges. It's needed to get America back on track, one participant said. Now it was only 11. But people who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 are all in on President Trump and what he's doing in 2025. Boy, has the pendulum swung. By the way, someone commented, "Hey BCP, I like your videos, whatever." I always love it when someone wants to insult me or the show, but they always do so by putting a compliment in the very beginning, as if I can't see through it. And sometimes they are genuine compliments and they are constructive criticism. But I've been criticized for my watch. I'm not trying to be a baller. I've had that watch for like 15 years. It's my favorite watch. I'm a small guy, and it's a big watch. It makes the watch look even bigger. But today I'm taking the kiddos to the movies. It's wrong for them to have the kids home on Valentine's Day, but anyway, it is what it is. And then someone else, actually a couple of people commented on me wearing glasses. I am now 50 years old. I'm not the guy in my early 40s when many of you started watching me on social media and YouTube. And sometimes I can't read the small letters, so I have glasses. Order them, by the dozens on Amazon because I misplace them all the time. Trust me, it's not a fashion statement. It's a necessity. Anyway, back to the news. Female Secret Service agent trainee shoots herself and is airlifted to hospital emergency room. Okay. All right. Headline almost writes itself. We're not going to make this a commentary on the fair sex. We're going to just read the story. But just know as I'm going through the story with you, the smile you see right now is genuine. This is just kind of funny news in the age of post-DEI, right? At least that's how I'm seeing it. An awful incident occurred involving a female Secret Service trainee, which could have had fatal consequences. Real Clear Politics' Susan Crabtree reported last night that the trainee in question shot herself in the leg at the Secret Service's Rowley Training Center. Following the shooting, the trainee was airlifted to a Baltimore hospital emergency room for treatment. Crabtree reveals the incident involved an accidental discharge of a weapon. There is no word yet on her condition. Crabtree notes that it's extremely rare for an agent or trainee to shoot themselves, though one previously did so back in September. That incident involved a male Secret Service agent. Failing to handle a weapon properly means severe consequences for a career Secret Service employee training a recruit. Unsafe weapons handling is a serious violation and grounds for disqualification dismissal during training of a new recruit. It would amount to formal disciplinary action for a career Secret Service employee. That is what one Secret Service person explained to Crabtree. Now, I'm a gun owner. My wife's a gun owner. We own several guns. And we've done training with our children for safety. And when my children were younger, I don't know if it's stuck with them, but they knew WIMP. WIMP. W-I-M-P. Where is the muzzle pointed? Or where's my muzzle pointed? Something like that. But, something, it was a device for children to remember gun safety. You make sure that you're never pointing a weapon at someone, even if it's unloaded, and you never have your finger on the trigger unless you're going to pull said trigger. And then, of course, you always make sure that you have your safety on. These are basic things that anyone that has firearms training or training firearms with little children would know. It just seems that at this level of law enforcement that you wouldn't see this. And like the article says, it is rare. All right, speaking of women and law enforcement and lack of judgment, you guys are going to see this is a stretch of a segue. This is what Tom Homan just said about AOC. She may be in deep doo-doo. Check this out.
But, Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension, giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
Now, before I show you Tom Homan's response to this, let me show you a few moments of this webinar, of this training that AOC is giving to illegal aliens. And trust me, this is targeted at illegal aliens. You'll see what I mean here in just a moment.
Principle number one in what you can do is that when one of these things comes to your backyard, you can resist. And what that happens over millions of people is that you generate enough friction that they cannot go as fast as they want to go, okay? So I'm going to give you some examples that have already been working. Let's start with immigration and ICE.
If you are here legally and you have your either a visa, a permission to work, a green card, and obviously if you're a citizen, why would you be worried about immigration and ICE? Obviously, this is meant for those who are here illegally.
ICE raids deeply affect and disrupt our community. So, number one, if you live in a community with a lot of immigrants, know your rights. That's one tangible thing you can do that I want you to do. And that means know your rights if you are a US citizen as well.
There you have it. She's obviously making this webinar for illegal aliens. Otherwise, what we should mention, oh yeah, if you're a legal citizen, you should know this as well. Meaning, hey, this is not really for you, but you should know your rights as well. But I really am educating the illegal immigrants on their rights. So, and then she goes on, but you get the gist of what she was talking about here. Let's go back to Tom Homan.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment is impediment, in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done. This is about public safety. This is about community safety. Knowingly releasing a public safety back in the public is just stupid.
Putting dangerous criminals back in the community is just plain stupid. Or it's evil, vile, wicked, and nefarious. Now, Tom Homan has been talking about this from Chicago to New York with these disruptions and not only training illegal aliens on how to circumvent the law, but also coordinated efforts by leftist groups to hamper ICE raids by announcing them, etc. Tom Homan's been out there talking about this. Okay, let me go back to AOC. I got to play this other clip. Listen to how she classifies and explains Tom Homan's worrying about the safety of not just ICE agents, but the actual immigrants and the community themselves. Look how she portrays this. Look how she spins this.
Okay, here's one way that we're going to create some friction in this system. Tom Homan, who's directing a lot of these ICE operations nationally, etc., he went on TV practically crying. This dude was whining his ass off because ICE went into the city of Chicago and Chicago had prepared for them. Community organizers, activists, and their mayor and local elected officials who were solid on this issue, they educated the city on their legal rights. Because what ICE tries to do is that they rely on people not knowing their rights in order to enter buildings, in order to search workplaces, etc. So when you know your rights, you are able to tell them no, and they do walk away. What you can do is protect people around you and also make sure that you are slowing down this system. The slower they operate, the less they can break.
She says Tom Homan is crying and whining. And then she literally uses the buzzwords that let us know that she is, in fact, one of those treasonous, traitorous rat bastards I'm always talking about. She's one of these entrenched Marxists in a non-Marxist capitalist country, America. She is a secret agent, or not so secret agent. She uses the buzzwords, community activists. Those are all actual Marxists. They're Saul Alinsky operatives, or using that philosophy. resist pure Marxists right before our eyes.
You're putting the public at great risk. You're putting our officers at great risk. You're even putting the illegal alien at great risk because anything can happen on an arrest on the street.
If those leftist Marxist bastards don't want to make America safer, President Trump is going to.
So we just want to make common sense. In sanctuary cities, they want to step aside. We're coming. We're going to do it for you. If you don't want to make your community safer, President Trump's going to.
Well, and everyone, blue cities across America, get ready. Tom, as always, thank you.
And I like the humility of Tom Homan. He's like, it's even, well, first of all, I mean, talk about his humility. He's like, I don't know if it's against the law, but it sure as hell seems like it's against the law to me. I'm going to defer to the people whose job that is. And then that's not whining and crying when you're worrying about the safety of the officers, worry about the safety of the community, and worry about the safety of the actual immigrants themselves. The lies from the left are so obvious. I am still flabbergasted and I am still awestruck by the power of the gaslighting and the propaganda where so many people around me are completely lost. Folks, there's a lot of people that still buy into this nonsense. And once again, these are emotional beings that don't know how to think critically, how to think logically. Yes, we're all emotional beings. We all are emotional beings. For instance, I love you. Happy Valentine's Day. Nothing logical about that statement. It is true, by the way. It's emotional. But not every realm of life is to be subjugated to our emotions and our feelings. Oh, I don't feel like this should be true, so it's not. Thank God for people like Tom Homan and President Trump that do the right thing, not just for America and American citizens and our law enforcement, but for the actual safety of the illegal immigrants themselves. And the resistance continues. We have this out of ABC News, what's going on in Denver. Denver Public Schools became the first U.S. school district to sue the Trump administration, challenging its policies allowing ICE immigration agents in schools. Colorado's largest public school district argued in the federal lawsuit that the policy has forced schools to divert vital educational resources and caused attendance to plummet. Wow. If my child is a legal immigrant, resident, or citizen, why would I not send them to school? What's really going on here? Logic would say Denver's pissed because they're a sanctuary city and now their funding is being cut off. Generally, the schools and the school districts and what have you, how much they get paid or how much that goes into their districts is dependent on the attendance. And if attendance is plummeting, that means no money for the Marxists. What's really going on here? You can read between the lines. The federal lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the Trump administration hasn't provided good reason for rescinding the rules nor adequately considered or addressed the fallout. Denver standing up for its illegal alien children and illegal alien families and protecting the right of all children, but mostly illegal aliens, regardless of their immigration status, to attend public schools. The schools serve more than 90,000 students, about 4,000 of which are immigrants. This is Denver. Who knows what the actual number really is? And let me end with this quick story because this one's absolutely fantastic. Trump took one look at the wall of presidential portraits and thought, you know what's missing? A touch of outlaw elegance. And just like that, his mugshot found its perfect spot, blending in like it was always meant to be there. Hidden elegantly, but not out of sight. That's right, the famous outlaw mugshot of our duly elected and beloved president, Donald John Trump. All right, folks, just getting started with the weekend reports. Make sure you hit the notification bell and like this video and share it on social media. I will be back. Until then, happy Valentine's Day. Big hug. Ciao. Goodbye. God bless.